Well, let's talk about some election stuff. You ready to look at a map? So here is the projected 2024 electoral map. This is basically pretty much set. There are 7 states that are the swing states, which are like the brown swing states. And every other state is pretty much, it is what it is. Harris leads in the polls about 2% nationally. Which
means nothing because
of the Electoral College. And I had to explain this to my 9th grade students. 9th graders are just now reaching a point where they're becoming kind of like politically, they're politically aware ahead of 9th grade, but like they're starting to actually care about like learning about the Electoral College. Because I said something about how like your vote in Washington doesn't actually matter because Washington's a solid blue state. So like the 12 points go to Harris either way. And they're like, wait, what? And I was like, well, yeah, each state is, and I explained the Electoral College, and I explained it as a points. I was like, each state is worth a certain amount of points. The first team to get 270 points wins. And so it doesn't actually matter how many people vote for Harris. And in fact, I showed them the data of like, for the past like 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, the past 6 elections, Republican has only won the popular vote once, but has been president more than once, but as president 1, 2, 3 out of those 6. Half of those elections, Republican president has been, so 50% presidential rate, but only 1 out of 6 popular votes. So like the popular vote largely doesn't matter. In fact, if you go back further, the Republican hasn't won a popular vote 1 out of the last like 12 or 10 elections or something. That's beside the point.
Yeah.
But the point here is that it's about these points. I don't know why I'm explaining to you as if you're a 9th grader. You guys all listening know what the Electoral College is. So this is it. Washington is solidly blue. Oregon is solidly blue. California is solidly blue. Whatever. Texas, Louisiana, Wyoming, solidly red. Florida has been a swing state in the past. However, it looks like for this election, it's pretty much not.
I think Florida's not even a swing state no more, man.
Yeah, it's not. I mean,
to be quite honest with you.
I think like 2000, 2004 it was, but it's just been steadily growing redder and redder. And we can pull up actually. Let me see the 2020 election. What was it?
In fact, we could say that Georgia has become more of a swing state than Florida.
Georgia has become more of a swing state than Florida, actually, and so we're going to talk about that. And so I pulled up the individual polling by state here. So this is based on, so Nevada and Michigan is still a straight tie. It's the average of 5 and 9 polls, respectively, for Nevada and Michigan. Last poll was yesterday, right? So this is pretty up-to-date data. So we leave Nevada and Michigan brown for the time being. We're good there. Harris is up by 0.3% in Pennsylvania. So if we go over here, we can turn Pennsylvania blue. If we're following just the current snapshot of polls, if the election were held today, and these there's assuming no margin of error, assuming these polls are completely accurate.
Correct.
Which of course they're not. So like, please don't think that they are. North Carolina
goes to Trump.
0.5% to Trump. Wisconsin 0.7% to Trump. So if we assume Wisconsin and North Carolina go to Trump, we'll color those in red. Maine District 2 is leading to Trump, but we're not really going to worry about that because it's like 1 electoral vote. Arizona went Biden in 2020, interestingly enough, but is now pretty solidly polling in Trump's favor.
Well, yeah, when you reach, there's a freaking brown girl running now. There's a woman and she's brown.
Oh, right. For Arizona. I was like, what are you talking about? Georgia, again, went Biden in 2020. I think that was the contest. All the re-elections in Georgia was where all the drama was. But now it's a 2-point lead, or almost a 2-point lead for Trump. And then that's it. So those are all of the swing states.
Iowa.
Iowa's not a swing state. Yeah. So now we just have Michigan and Nevada at the time.
Good for the
yeah. Look
Biden
at where we're
years.
at. So we're at already the Republicans having won. So it actually doesn't matter where Nevada and Michigan and Nevada land, because I just dropped my pen. 1 second. I need my pen to make my points. Ugh.
That came out of his ass.
It came out of my ass. Yeah. So basically, if the polling as of today stands, it's a Trump win. Even if these go to, it's actually, this will be one of the closest electoral races in history. If this holds, it'll be 272 to 266 if all of the polling holds, and both of the Nevada and Michigan ties break for Harris, which I'm not convinced that Nevada will. Nevada's, there's a lot of red people in Nevada, a lot of Republicans in Nevada. So that's why Harris is in Georgia right now. Obama's in Tucson right now.
What's Wisconsin like? I feel like Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
How do you say it? Is it Wisconsin or Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. What about it?
What's the polling like? 'Cause it's
It's a
that is
Trump.
a swing state.
Yeah, it's a Trump lead by 0.7%. Yeah.
0.7%.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
That's the
That's
thing,
like
man.
a rainy day in a red district in anyone, you know what I mean, swings this to the other
Yeah.
person. This polling is so close that it's like this polling is impossible to really judge too. The polling predicted a Hillary Clinton win in 2016. The polling, you know what I mean, like it's always it predicted a Trump win in 2020. Like the polling is always wrong. So like this is all, take all of this with a grain of salt. But as it stands right now, based on current polls, up-to-date polling as of like as recently as yesterday in a lot of these states, Trump is going to win by 272 to 266. That 266 is soft because that's assuming that Nevada and Michigan both go for Harris. Now, like I said, there could be like heavy rains in like the foothills of like a rich suburb in Wisconsin or in Wisconsin that allows it to go
If
to,
Wisconsin
that's literally all it
flips-
takes is stuff like that.
If Wisconsin flips something like that, Democrats.
Yeah,
win.
some of these states like that don't have a lot of people, like Nevada or Wisconsin or Arizona, like relative to like bigger cities, like 0.7% is literally like a neighborhood, right? So like it's a single little like tiny little fraction of people. I mean, it's really, it could be like down to just thousands of votes or a couple hundred of votes. And sometimes, remember the Georgia election came down to like, or what was it? The Florida election in 2000 came down to like double digits or triple digit votes. I mean, like this stuff can be pretty close sometimes.
Yeah.
Just the nature of the country and the nature of the electoral college and the nature of like the red and blue states make every election very, very competitive. And Georgia is being heavily campaigned in right now by Harris. She's there, I think, right now. Obama is in Tucson, Arizona tonight. Biden is going to be in Flagstaff, Arizona, I think tomorrow or later this week or something. Like they're fighting hard for these states because literally all of these states are up for grab. Now, so if, for instance, Georgia were to flip for Biden, that's it. They just need Georgia, just the one.
Kamala.
What did I say, Biden?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. If Georgia were to stay, red and then North Carolina were to flip they just need one, essentially. Oh, actually, let's assume that they don't have Nevada or Wisconsin. Nevada or Michigan. Those are the two that are, oh my God, this is so laggy. Yeah, so like if they need some of the smaller states and North Carolina, or some of the smaller states and Georgia, or both North Carolina and Georgia, and it won't matter, and they can lose Nevada. I mean, there's a lot of different paths to victory, but they need a lot to go right.
Correct.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. We're how many days away from the election are we? Today's the 18th of October. The election is the 5th of November. So we are 14. We're 16 days away from the election.
If I were them, I'd be focused on Wisconsin. To be honest, it's 0.7%. Those 10 points, man, can make a real big difference.
Oh, I would be shocked if Harris isn't going to be there in the next day or two. I mean, this is it. They're just making repeat flyovers to these like 7 states. They're dumping all of their money. This is the home stretch. The last dollars they have are going into these states. That's it. Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll do some live coverage on Tuesday night, the 5th. Are you able to come over here and do a live?
I'm still trying to.
Okay. Well, I can get it started and then just join me when you can.
Yeah.
It'll be going all night.
I do want to talk, since we're talking about elections, that there is a chance. I don't know if you've seen Ted Cruz panicking a little bit.
Huh.
Yeah. The polls are actually somewhat decently close. And Ted Cruz, I've watched videos recently of where he's like, please, $10, $20.
Oh, is he?
$50, please. They're out spending the Republicans in Texas like crazy.